Hello and welcome to this step-by-step beginner's guide to Typeform. Building effective online forms and surveys doesn't have to be complicated, and Typeform proves just that with its intuitive and user-friendly approach. In this guide, we'll take a more thorough look at the initial stages of using Typeform. We'll be covering everything from understanding the workspace to creating your first few different types of questions and even applying some basic styling. Our goal is to give you a solid foundation so you can start confidently building forms that not only look great but also gather the information you need effectively. Also, if you haven't signed up for Typeform just yet, you can use my link down below in order to sign up and get a free 10 responses for your first month. Let's get started and explore the fundamentals of creating engaging forms with Typeform. To begin, we'll need to click on the sign up option since this is a first timer's deal, and clicking on the sign up button, it's going to take you to the page where you'll need to sign up using Google, Microsoft, or with your email. So to make things easier, we're going to click on sign up with Google, and after selecting the Google account you will be using, you'll be taken to this page called Almost There. And this is because all you need to do on this page is to click to agree to Typeform's terms of service, privacy policy, and data processing agreement. When you do that, these three options will automatically be toggled on. And what are they? Well, this means that you'd like to get useful tips, inspiration, and offers via e-communication, and then this other option is to tailor Typeform to your needs based on your activity, and then lastly to enrich your data with select third parties for more relevant content. Of course, if you don't want these, you can simply toggle them off as you wish, and then after you've done that, you can click on Let Me In. So as you continue in your step to sign up, you're going to be asked your first name and last name, so we're going to be putting this information right here. And here we have our first name and last name, Neil Breaker, so we're going to click and continue. So here it says, Neil, what's the main thing you'll be using Typeform for? We could say work, and then it says which of these best describe your role. We could choose product or research or design, so we could choose that. And then it says, what do you want Typeform to help you with? So because we're talking about a product, a design, or research, we could decide to go through with any of these options. So we're going to choose conduct research. And of course here it says you need to share your website to brand your forms automatically, but this is not compulsory. As you'll see at the top right area here, I don't have a website. You could choose that option, and that's really fine. Now on this page, you get to start from scratch, import questions, or create with AI. And this is because Typeform allows you to build your form using these three options. You could start from scratch if you want, import questions from places such as Google Forms, or you could also synchronize your CRM such as HubSpot, or create it with AI. So we're going to click on Create with AI. And then here you have two options to fill all forms or for lead qualification forms. We could choose for all forms, but remember, if you'd like to change your mind, you want to create from scratch, you can click on Add Form Elements, import questions from Google Form, or continue with Creating with AI. We'd like to let you know of these options so you can be more versatile while using Typeform. We're going to go ahead and choose for all forms. And then we have 3 points here to look at. Describe your form, add important topics, and add business information. However, these two options are not required, so you can choose to describe your form right here manually. However, it also says that for best results, you need to provide as much details as possible. Then you have some suggestions here, and would like to use these suggestions. And in the first instance, when you hover over it, you can see that this is a user satisfaction survey assessing overall experience and usability, and this is a task completion form evaluating ease of completing specific tasks. This is a feature preference quiz identifying the most desired features. We'll like this option, so we're going to choose it and then click on continue. And like we mentioned before, these are optional, but for your case you'll need to put in these information if you'd like to get the best result. In our case, for this tutorial, we'll be skipping them by clicking on continue and clicking on generate questions. It's going to take a moment to generate our questions. And finally, we have about 5 questions. That didn't take a bit. And you can see for the first question, which of the following features do you consider essential in a product? So of course, because this is AI created, it doesn't mean that you cannot make some edits to this question. So instead of saying which of the following features do you consider essential in a product, you can say, do you consider essential in our product, right? So this is to show you that you can actually make some changes to the questions that have been generated. So you can repeat the process for the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth question, or you can even add more if you want. Now here is a blank survey, and if we want to make a design to this, we can actually click on the design option right here, then click on gallery, and here you have some designs that you can pick from. Do take note that at the top right area of each of these options, you're going to see either the diamond icon here or nothing here. When there is nothing, it means that you can use the free option, but if you're using this one, you'll need to upgrade your plan, and really the upgraded plan options are really nice and friendly. So we can go ahead and choose one of the free options. I'm going to go with this one. And you can see the changes in the background. We like this frosted feel and it looks great. Now there's something more you could do with this survey, and this is why we like Typeform. Remember we said in our introduction that we'd like to show you different types of questions, right? So this is a question that you can simply ask, but then again, if you'd like to make some choices to this question, you can simply click on edit choices. But here you can see that in this question, it's a drop down, and when you click on the drop down, you can see the options right there, and they can actually select it from the list of options available. Then if you want to add some more flair to your questions, you can add a video to this. So for example, you have the second question, what features would you prioritize when choosing our product? You can decide to add a video to this one. And then you can come over here, and this is for this question on the right panel, and then you can click on video, and then here you can add a video to your question. So basically you're talking about a product, and you can actually add a video, and then you have your question right here. Because we clicked on video, you can see that this is now a placeholder, but when you go over to text, you can see this, and we can copy it, go over to video, and then paste the question right there. So which features would you prioritize when choosing a product? So we can put the product right here, and then you have the drop down. Now if you don't want this to be a drop down and you want your respondents to respond basically from what they have in mind, you can change this from a 14 options list by coming over here and switching from a drop down to long text. Now this long text means that they can actually make a description based on anything they're thinking about. If you wanted to stick to the drop down, that means that they will need to be selecting from the list of options made available. So this is your choice if you want to. We just want you to know that these are different options that can be applied as your respondents are giving responses. If we switch back to the drop down, you'll need to provide the options back in the list. You can go ahead and add choices and click on save changes after you've added them. But of course we left it in long text and we can leave it as that. The video option is for the paid plan, so you'll need to take note of that. You'll need to add a video and then you'll be asked to upgrade your plan. You can do that if you want a better looking form. At this point, we can now see that we've been able to create different types of questions, beautify, and actually upgrade the look of our form using a design that is different from the original background. Then here you have the mobile preview option where you can click on it to see how it looks like with the mobile version, and then you can click again to see how it looks like on the desktop. And then you have the preview option here to see it on your web browser. It's going to show you how it looks like to a new person, and then you can click on the X to close it in order to continue editing your survey. Then after your survey has been done, you can actually come over to the endings, click on it to add an end screen, or you could actually add post submit actions such as connecting to apps or send messages. If we want to add an end screen, we could simply add that and say thank you for participating. And there you have it. Of course, if you don't want to put your socials right here or have this button, you can come over here. You can see social share icons, and when we toggle this off, it disappears, and when we toggle the button off, it also disappears, and you just have thank you for participating. So that wraps up our step-by-step beginner's guide to Typeform. We've taken a more in-depth look at all the initial stages, from navigating the workspace, from creating forms from basic question types, and applying some styling. You should now have a better understanding of the fundamentals needed to build engaging and effective forms for your specific needs. Remember to explore the features from the template library and experiment with different question types to see what works best for you. Also, if you haven't signed up to Typeform just yet, you can use my link in the description below in order to sign up and get a free 10 responses for your first month. Thanks for watching and happy building.